I just smoked these ribs in this oven, in this apartment, without a smoker. How, you ask? I'll get to that. But first, are these smokerless smoked ribs good enough to convince a couple of the most respected pitmasters in Texas that they were actually smoked low and slow for hours? And since I'm here in Austin, I'm going to have my friend and famous YouTuber Josh Weissman pass his judgment on them too. Are they going to be convinced, or am I going to be deeply embarrassed? I am about to find out. Hey guys, hey, come on in. Good to see you, man.
See you too.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
Joe?
See ya.
All right. Let's have some ribs.
Good time.
About 1 in 8 Americans live in apartments without access to outdoor cooking. No gas grills, no charcoal grills, no smokers, no safe way to cook food low and slow over smoke for hours. That's 40 to 50 million people just in the USA. It's sad. I'm sure many of these people love barbecue. So in today's video, I'm going to use everything I know about the chemistry of smoking meat to create a smokerless, smoked rib that would convince even the most skeptical of pitmasters. Using nothing more than a home oven, I'll give you a blueprint for creating your perfect rib. Maybe that's a minimalist Texas rib with just salt, pepper, and smoke. Or a Memphis-style dry rib like they serve at the Rendezvous. You might like the always popular sweet and sticky Kansas City ribs. Or something else. You get to choose your own ending, and the recipe starts by understanding what exactly is in smoke. As wood heats up, it goes through several stages on its way to ashes. Below about 300 degrees Fahrenheit, the wood is just drying out. What looks like wisps of smoke is just the fog of condensing water vapor, along with simple molecules like carbon dioxide and methanol. As the temperature continues to climb, the wood starts to decompose into simple molecules like acetic acid, the taste of vinegar, formic acid, the sting of an ant bite, along with ammonia and other gases. None of this makes for delicious barbecue, but until the wood is dry, its temperature stalls and it will continue to smolder and produce a white cloud of sour vapors, which is a really good reason to stop soaking your wood chips. Once the water is gone, the smoldering temperature climbs above 500 degrees, and the hemicellulose, cellulose, and lignin that are the 3 building blocks of wood all start breaking down into more complex organic molecules. Some of these we want, but others like creosote are unpleasant and unhealthy. The smoke at these temperatures tends to be thick, dark gray, and coats everything in sticky, tar-like awfulness. As the smoke reaches 700 degrees Fahrenheit, the vapors self-ignite and actually burn with a flame, forging classes of molecules known as carbonyls and phenolics. This is the good stuff. Broadly speaking, various carbonyls react with proteins at the surface of the meat in ways that are very similar to the Maillard reaction, creating the characteristic colors of barbecue. And phenolics provide the unmistakable aromas of smoked meats. The more the smoke is rich with diverse kinds of phenolics, the more complex the depth of flavor in the barbecue. As long as the fire isn't starved of oxygen, at these higher temperatures, unhealthy molecules like hydrogen cyanide and ammonia are converted into nitric oxide, which is responsible for the smoke ring in barbecue. Above 750 degrees Fahrenheit, the fire burns clean. Maybe too clean for folks who want the traditional flavor of pit-smoked barbecue. As the temperature keeps climbing, all of the complex organic molecules have burned off, and the only thing left is charcoal. And once that's burned, you're left with ash. When your fire is burning hot enough, with enough oxygen, the smoke gets a thin, wispy, almost bluish appearance. Now, most of the good stuff that we want in smoke are actually invisible gases, not the droplets of tar and bits of ash that give smoke its visible appearance. And you can put it in a bottle. Now, I know what you're thinking. Liquid smoke is bullshit. But give me a moment to change your mind. Liquid smoke is not some artificial concoction. People have been condensing wood smoke for centuries as wood vinegar. And it has a bad reputation because almost everybody is using it wrong. Let's fix that. I'm starting by cleaning up some St. Louis cut spare ribs. The predictive thermometer is a surprisingly good tool to release the membrane from the first bone so that you can grip it and rip it. Clean off any large chunks of fat and loose bits of meat for a nicer eating rib. Because I'm cooking in this oven, there's no nitric oxide from combustion, so no smoke ring. To make these ribs a convincing forgery, I'm going to spray them with a very dilute solution of this curing salt. The nitrite in this curing salt will convert into nitric oxide during cooking, reacting with the myoglobin in the meat to create the telltale smoke ring. I'm adding a 1/4 teaspoon of Instacure to a 1/4 cup of water. Then I'll mix 2 teaspoons of this solution into another 1/4 cup of water. This solution is so dilute that it fully reacts and leaves nothing behind after cooking except a smoke ring. Next, I'm going to season these ribs with about 15 grams of oak smoked salt. I'll let it start to dissolve before I break up the large crystals by rubbing them into the meat. And I'll finish seasoning with some coarse ground black pepper for a minimalist Texas-style rib that's all about the pork, pepper, and smoke flavor. But if you prefer more flavors or sweeter rubs, go for it. I'll give these ribs at least 30 minutes for the salt to start wicking in. And in the meantime, I'll insert my combustion predictive thermometer between a couple of these ribs so that I can keep track of the true core, surface, and ambient temperatures, which makes it easy to achieve a perfect texture. In traditional barbecue, the meat is continuously bathed in smoke, but the smoke is a very thin aerosol. With liquid smoke, we're condensing hours of smoke directly onto the surface of the meat all at once. And in my testing, you get the best results by applying a very thin coating and then allowing plenty of cooking time for the molecules in the liquid smoke to react with the proteins, fats, and sugars in this meat. And now, into the oven this goes. I have a foil-lined sheet tray filled with some water on the bottom rack to catch drippings from the ribs so they don't burn and make a mess. I like to set the ribs on the top rack so that air can circulate all around them, just like in a smoker. My oven is at 275 degrees with the convection fan on. For the next hour, I just let the smoke condensate react as the ribs come up to temperature. When the core reaches around 130 degrees and the surface temperature is 150 degrees, I'll apply another light spritz of smoke. Smoke reacts best when the surface of the meat is just wet enough to be tacky to the touch. If the surface is too wet, molecules in the smoke tend to get carried away by the evaporating water. But if it's too dry, the smoke can't stick and won't react with the meat. This leads a lot of people to say that meat can't absorb smoke above a certain temperature. That's not quite true. Meat can react with smoke at any temperature as long as the surface is still wet. I'm going to moisten my surface with a light spritz of cider vinegar. You can use apple cider if you prefer a touch more sweetness. And that's going to make the surface that perfect tackiness to help the liquid smoke do its job. Do not be tempted to give your meat more than a light spritz of liquid smoke. Give the reactions time to do their work. The color will deepen near the end, and if you've used a touch of sugar from vinegar or cider, you'll get some nice tiger stripe charring, just like on a real pit smoker. I'll repeat the process of applying liquid smoke again when the surface temperature reaches 180 degrees and around 205 degrees, which is about every 45 minutes for this cook. Look at these. The core temperature is at 205 degrees. The ribs break nicely when you flex them. These are almost ready. I'm going to give them a final spritz. And then back into the oven. I'll turn the oven temperature down to 225 degrees and hold that true core temperature at 200 to 205 degrees for an hour. This lets the collagen finish breaking down to that tender, perfect texture while the bark finishes developing. The nice thing about using the combustion predictive thermometer is that it makes it simple to keep track of how long the ribs have been in a sweet spot, so that you can consistently get that perfect texture that isn't too chewy or too mushy if you don't have a bunch of experience judging ribs just by feel. But this floppy texture is another good sign that these ribs are perfect. Looks pretty good to me. And it tastes delicious too. Josh, do you want a rib? What do you think?
It's great.
It's tender. It comes away cleanly from the bone. It is not mushy at all. If you served me these ribs, I would be incredibly happy. But let's not just take my word for it, or Josh's. I want to get a second opinion from a true barbecue expert, my friend Jeff Knock. About an hour north of Seattle is Jeff's Texas-style barbecue, and I think it's some of the best barbecue in the state. The owner, Jeff Knock, has been cooking meat market-style barbecue since the 90s, quietly building a reputation for his post-oak smoked brisket, spare ribs, sausages, and a smoked turkey breast that changed my mind about turkey being a garbage bird.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Good. What do you got going on today?
So, I am working on a new recipe for making a smoked rib at home without a smoker. These are my smokerless smoked ribs, and I really want your feedback. I want to know what you think.
Wow, smokerless smoked ribs. Okay. Well, first impression, they look really good. Nice and tender, nice and moist. Let's give it a try. Good texture. Comes right away from the bone, but it's still got some chew. Looks like we got salt, pepper. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
You know, I want the pork to speak for itself. This is my style rib.
Yeah, I know a little bit about your style. I wanted something you'd enjoy.
Yeah, this is really pretty solid, man. I don't know though. I feel like there's just something missing here. Let me go grab some of my ribs and we'll taste those. Here, Chris, try one of mine.
You know, those look great. They're always great. Oh, I'll go with this one.
What do you think? See what I'm talking about?
There's a lingering smokiness to this that's missing from my rib. It's a better rib. If this is a 10, how would you rate my ribs?
Good cook, tender, pulls off the bone, pork flavor comes through, hint of smoke, maybe something missing. I give them about an 8 out of 10.
Well, it looks like my recipe isn't quite ready yet, Jeff, but I appreciate the feedback.
No problem. And don't be too upset, man. I've been cooking for 30 years to get my ribs like this. It ain't easy.
Eight out of 10 is not bad. I think most people would be satisfied with my rib recipe as it is. But I am not most people, and I am not satisfied. Jeff was right. There's something missing from my ribs. And I think I know what it is and how to capture it. This is a simple distillation setup. Wood chips are heated up to the ideal combustion temperature. Air flows down through this straw to keep the fire oxygenated, and smoke is created inside the still. As it rises, it's forced to travel down this condensing tube, which has ice-cold water circulating around a hollow core. This cools the smoke and condenses it into a liquid, which slowly drips into a collection flask. As the liquid smoke settles, it separates into different layers. There's an oily layer on top and an aqueous water-based layer on the bottom. Wood vinegar has been distilled this way for hundreds of years, but these days, producers separate and filter these fractions and throw some of them out to comply with modern food safety regulations. The problem is that the layers being discarded also contain a lot of the flavorful phenolics that give traditional smoked foods fuller flavor. That's what's missing from my ribs, and I want some of it back. I don't think most of you want to turn your kitchen into a meth lab, so I've got an easier strategy to make a full-strength liquid smoke by extracting what's missing from strong smoked salt with 151 proof Everclear. The ice-cold mixture of 75% ethanol and 25% water in the Everclear is ideal for washing off the aldehydes, lactones, and phenolic molecules missing from commercial liquid smokes without dissolving the salt crystals, which can then just be strained before we evaporate off most of the alcohol and water to make a full-flavored smoke concentrate. Put the cigarette out. Please.
Move it. Ain't got all day.
It's ready. It's got everything that's good in smoke, and it's going to make some amazing barbecue. Let's cook. 5 weeks ago, I thought I was making a simple rib video. A recipe for oven-cooked ribs that wouldn't leave you eating disappointment. wishing they were the real thing. But somewhere in my middle-aged delusions of grandeur, I convinced myself that I could reinvent centuries of tradition. That's how Walter White becomes Heisenberg. But in my case, it ends with me washing smoke from salt, half naked in the desert heat. All to make something worthy of a place like this. LeRoy Lewis in Austin, Texas. #2 in the state. Michelin starred. The kinds of accolades that should have made me reconsider my entire premise. Look at this line. These aren't people waiting for average. And what they get for their patience is something extraordinary. Beef cheeks, confit and smoke that will ruin lesser meats. Brisket that makes you understand why people drive across states for barbecue. And a miso glazed and smoked carrot that would turn a meathead vegan. Almost. The barbecue that Evan LeRoy and his pitmasters like Joe Yim cook is a reality check. The audacity of thinking that this could be matched with kitchen hacks and chemistry. But here we are. I am about to commit an act of profound hubris. The barbecue at LeRoy Lewis was so good and so delicious, I really feel like I've got to give my ribs everything I've got. And I've got one more trick up my sleeve that technically breaks the rule of no special equipment. But during the recipe development for this video, I liked the results so much that I'd feel bad not sharing it. I'm smoking some pork stock in this blender with that favorite tool of mixologists, the smoking gun. Clean, high-quality smoke from oak shavings is quickly absorbed by the swirling vortex of pork stock, thick with fat. 5 minutes, and job done. This emulsified pork stock gets sprayed onto the ribs as they cook, delivering raw smoke locked into a naturally sweet mixture of protein and fat. Smoky. And because chili pea is a signature move, a splash of sweet jalapeno pickle juice. The proteins keep the surface of the ribs reactive. The fat helps carry the lingering flavors deeper into the bark. And the hint of raw wood smoke finishes my forgery. You can think of these techniques as progressive. The basic recipe works great, using just things that you can get at any supermarket. You can upgrade your liquid smoke using the alcohol washed smoked salt, and for that final touch of lingering smoky flavor, you can use an inexpensive tool that you can get from Amazon and some fatty pork juice. I've put together a PDF of my recipe along with detailed notes that you can get by going to chrisyoungcooks.com, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. And for iOS users, there's also a link that lets you get the recipe in the wonderful crouton recipe app made by my friend Devin Davies. This Apple Design Award-winning app is a recipe organizer and meal planner that keeps all your favorite recipes in one perfect place. Hey guys, come on in. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
Joe?
See ya.
Let's have some ribs.
Rib time.
There we got some ribs.
They look like they've been in a smoker.
Yeah.
Should we try this?
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Can't believe I'm gonna be slicing meat in front of you. Super nervous.
See, I like that you go bone side up.
Why do you like that I go bone side up?
Because everybody thinks it's like some sort of competition to cut your ribs meat side up. Those look great.
Yeah.
So I do have one final thing I'm gonna do. This is just that smoked pork, fatty pork juice. All right, I'm officially fucking nervous, but have at it, guys.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the smaller one right here.
Right here. It smells really good. They're really good.
Yeah. I think one of the things that people tend to do because they're adding sauce and all this kind of stuff, and they rarely cook ribs with just salt and pepper. When they do it right before it goes on the smoker, it tends to be under-seasoned a little bit. This one kind of like, the season's all the way through.
Everything comes together. I kind of like to try different parts of the ribs too.
Me
Just
too.
like
Yeah.
middle, fatty, kind of the end crispiness too. Like,
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all different.
Yeah.
I mean, the cook on it is really, really good.
Yeah.
Really fantastic. The look is amazing.
How's the bark for you?
The bark
Great.
is really nice. I think, you know, this has a very This has like an old school bark to it. Like it's got that kind of, you know, a brisket bark is different. It's got more fat to it, and it's got that crunchy exterior with the fat underneath. You know, this is just like barked up, straight up meat.
Yeah.
And I like that. It's got a little bit of a chew, but that's what you want.
Okay, so if you come to somebody's apartment and they serve you these, how happy are you? On a scale of 1 to 10.
I'm pretty happy, dude. I'm really happy. First of all, I just like getting cooked for.
If you didn't tell me how much work went into the rib, I'd be happy, but I'm like, I feel loved. How much work went into it. That's a lot.
This is way farther than I would ever go for a rack of
Same,
ribs.
same. It is pretty shocking that it, like, as soon as you pulled it out, I was like, wow, that looks like it came off of a smoke.
Yeah, no, those are great, especially in an apartment. You know,
Yeah.
when there's nothing to cook outside, when haven't even set foot outside. So these are delicious, but I think it's time for us to get back to the restaurant. Thanks for cooking for us.
Hey, thank you for coming by and trying my ribs. I appreciate it. Humbled. See you later. They like them. I've got one more person I want to have try my ribs. Josh, it's Chris. Yeah, I'm in Austin. Want to try some ribs?
All right, cut. We're done. Thank God.
Josh, got some ribs for you to try.
How the fuck do you even get in here?
Secrets.
We don't have security, let's be real.
Okay, smokerless smoked ribs.
Okay. I love when men bring me unidentifiable meat. Oh wow, look at these. Look at that. Wait, you said smokerless?
Yep, made these in an oven. You could do this in an apartment with no smoker. That's the whole idea.
I mean, I'm honestly shocked. You got the pink butcher paper, first of all.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta have that. The grease stains, but then when you open it, I mean, this really looks, this looks smoked.
Hold it up, let's see how that floppiness is.
It's got, oh, she's even a little sticky. Oh my goodness. I don't even want to hold it too much, it's gonna tear. Smells smoky.
We chop some ribs?
Let's try it. Wait a minute, is this a combustion? I won't get into it.
Yes, that's the predictive thermometer. We'll pull that out so we don't sacrifice that.
This is how he travels around. He travels around with a big cleaver and then meat, and then just shows up. That's why we like this man. Ooh, look at this, dude.
Got a smoke ring and everything.
Wait, what?
Yeah?
How the fuck is that even possible? Am I allowed to curse on this show?
Absolutely.
No way, dude. I'm scared. Okay, I'm going for it. Whoa!
Not bad, right?
Banging! Wait, what? How though? Like it's got like the bark, it's got that like smoky chew on the exterior, super tender, seasoned perfectly. Honestly, and I'm not just saying this, these are better than like most average ribs you would get out of a smoker. Mm-hmm. Like the average person, I don't even think could make ribs like this using a proper smoker. So how? What's the move? Because this is a lot to figure out.
It was quite a journey. Here, watch the video. It's gonna make some amazing barbecue.
Yeah, you're gonna need to watch this video.